Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply, and this video is to bring you a closer look at the Adams Rite number 4000-012-628. This is a typical strike for their long bolt. Adams Rite, as you likely know, has different functions of lock bodies that work in typical storefronts and other doors. They've got the dead latch, and they've got the hook bolt, and then they've got the long, or they've got the bolt style, and this is the one that's intended for the long bolt. Okay, they do make a short bolt version of this, but this is the common strike. You'll note that it's wider at the bottom than it is on the top. That's self-aligning, and it's forgiving for the bolt to enter the strike. It does draw it tight and draw the door quite tight to the frame as well. Simple strike plate. It can be surface mounted on a wood or a metal jamb or mortised flush. It's typically mortised, not mortised, but the prep is created, the cutout is created in the aluminum frame, and then you would typically mount it with mounting tabs that you'd find. An overall height of this strike is 4 7/8. Overall width, 1.25 inches. It's about 1/8 of an inch thick. The 628 is the finish. That is the clear anodized aluminum on an aluminum base material. Screws are included for both wood and steel frame installations or aluminum frame where you have mounting tabs or a reinforced prep. It does have radiused corners. There is a link below this video to a document called Template and then another document called Instructions. And the instructions, they show how you're going to go about prepping this. The important part of that is that you're going to see all of the dimensional properties of that. But really, it is on page 2 that is important to note the center line of the lock face and what is the center line of the strike, because that bolt isn't necessarily in the center of the lock, and it sure will act funny as it comes out of the edge of the door, so you need to obey, the location of where all of that is, and it's 1 1/8 relocation of center line. So whatever your door dimension is, top of the door to the center of the lock prep, you're going to actually add, well, it's 1/8 of an inch. It's 1 1/8 inches greater, but if you're measuring that on the frame, you're going to add another 1/8, assuming 1/8 of an inch margin at the top of the door. If you're putting your tape measure on, take your door dimension, add the 1 1/8 inches, and then add 1/8 if you're going to measure onto the frame from there. Page 1 shows the physical dimensions, makes references to other strikes as well. Now that link to the template is really better called a cut sheet, because it will show you, especially on page 2, the lower left-hand area, the table or matrix by which a part number is derived. So this being the 4000 series strike, it's going to be what they call the trim strike, versus the strike that's going to include the box, which is a different preparation. Certainly, it'll have a dust box behind it. You can see how the middle part of the part number will change. This is an 012, so it's going to be flat, and then intended for the 3/4 inch bolt. Then the finish, of course, 628 is clear anodized aluminum. I'm partial to Adams Rite, and it's because every item that they sell, there is a matrix or a table by which you can determine what the part number needs to be based on what your conditions are or what you're dealing with. So that it really eliminates the guesswork and always allows you to derive at the proper part number, if only you seek out the information. And speaking of that information, there is a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all the Adams Rite products that we sell, but a link to the manufacturer's website, along with a link to the product catalog. The summary about Adams Rite is if you're dealing with aluminum storefront hardware, electric strikes, exit devices, or you're dealing with some specialty items like cylinder-operated flush bolts, that's an Adams Rite go-to. If you would get involved in any of those areas, you might want to familiarize yourself with their catalog on the manufacturer's page, or at least where to find it in the future. If you have any questions on the Adams Rite 4000-012-628 trim strike in aluminum, or any other Adams Rite product, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.